If you have a Bible this morning, please turn to the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 1. I'm going to read to you from the New Living Translation this morning. Follow along. And some of you are going to be upset with me. It's okay. I'm used to people being upset with me. I can handle it. John, chapter 5. I'm going to read starting with verse 1. And this is about ready to drive you crazy, so here I go. Afterward, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days or festivals. Inside the city, near the sheep gate, was a pool, or the pool of Bethesda, or Bethsaida, whichever your translation says, with 5 covered porches. Now crowds of sick people, blind, lame, or paralyzed, lay on the porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. Now some of you are going crazy. Where's verse 4? I'll explain. We skipped verse 4. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew he had been ill for a long time, he asked him, "Would you like to get well? Or would thou be whole, made whole?" "I can't, sir," the sick man says, "for I have no one to put me in the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me." Jesus told him, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." Instantly, the man was healed. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking. But this miracle happened on the Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders objected. They said to the man who was cured, "You can't work on the Sabbath. The law doesn't allow you to carry that sleeping mat." But he replied, "The man who healed me told me to pick up my mat and walk." "Who said such a thing as that?" they demanded. The man didn't know, for Jesus had disappeared into the crowd. But afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and told him, "Now you are well. Sin no more," or stop sinning, or something even worse may happen to you. Then the man went and told the Jewish leaders it was Jesus who had healed him. Now, before I go too much further, the New Living Translation does not have verse 4. And that outrages a lot of people. And just by way of explanation, I'd like to clear that up. You see, when this stuff was written down almost 2,000 years ago, there were no chapter verses. There was no anything. The numbers came in later, 16th, 17th century era, to help us along to find our way. Now, a translation is you go back to the Greek. And when you read the Greek and you want it to be in English, you use the English words or phrases that match that by way of translation to make it so we can read English, which is a great thing. So in the translation, from 400 AD on, they added on a clarification. The reason these people gathered by this pool was they believed, there was a legend, that an angel would go in there and stir up the waters, and the first person who got in that water got healed. It was a tradition. It was not really a religious thing. It was sort of like a superstitious kind of thing. It wasn't something ordained by the Bible or anything. It was just something they did. And the first one in was okay, and I guess the last one in was a rotten egg. But anyway, the translators went back to the oldest versions, and that was not included. That's why verse 4 is deleted in the New Living. But they do make a footnote about it. So if you're mad, meet me in the parking lot after church, and we can fight this out. But let me get back to this story. Jesus came to town, Jerusalem, on the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, according to the Old Testament, was a day of rest. And you're not supposed to do any work. Well, enter religion. God made Sabbath to give us a break, to give us a rest. Anybody out there need a rest? You need a break. If you work too hard, you burn the candle at both ends, you get crazy, you get loopy, you get grouchy, all the things. And God, in His infinite wisdom, who doesn't get crazy or lumpy or grouchy, that I know of, He gave that to us, to give us a break. And He said, don't work. relax, save up, and then, do your thing on the Sabbath. Well, enter religion, man-made rules. They made barnacles upon barnacles. That's what this actual jar here is. It's full of barnacles. As a boat travels along, it picks up calcium things, and they kind of grow and grow on the bottom of the sea vessel. I'm serious, these are actual barnacles from a boat. Thanks, Tim Philippi, for that. And I keep it on my pulpit to remind me. Sometimes, as you're going along, things attach themselves and drag you. The boat doesn't go as swiftly with barnacles, and from time to time you got to clean the barnacles off. They did the same thing to the law of Moses. They added to it, they added to it, they added to it. You couldn't even blow your nose on the Sabbath. It was getting crazy. And so Jesus comes to town, to Jerusalem, and he does a miracle on the Sabbath. That's amazing. I mean, think about what a miracle is. The natural flow of things gets interrupted for the glory of God. I mean, this whole law of atrophy, when your body gets sick, eventually it just winds down and then it's dead. God sometimes intervenes in that. He suspends natural laws and he does a miraculous, out of the ordinary thing. He does it at his will, for his pleasure, and for his glory. So Jesus comes to town and finds a guy who is laying by this pool with this kind of false hope. For 38 years, we're told, this man had not been able to walk on his own two legs. And this is way before Bethesda Hospital. He was at the pool of Bethesda. And hundreds of people apparently were there. And this fellow had not taken a step. And we read here, we understand, for 38 years. And who knows all the other stories of the people gathered around that pool. Well, Jesus walks up to that place where hundreds are laying around, and he zeroes in on one guy. And he walks up to the guy and he says, "Do you want to be healed?" Now, there's a lot of ways you can take this. And why I'm relating this story, I want to try to bring this home to us. Because, all right, there's 300 people roughly around the pool. Why does Jesus just go to one? A lot of people would say, that's not fair. I hear a lot about this thing about fairness. That's not fair, this is not fair. And there's people on these campaigns to try to make life fair. Right? I mean, my old buddy Karl Marx thought, well, the rich people, it's not fair that they're rich, and it's not fair that these people are poor, so we got to eliminate the rich, and we have to exalt the poor, and that will make everybody happy, right? And he totally throws God out of the picture. Religion is the opiate of the people. We don't need that stuff. So we see societies, we hear philosophies, let's make things fair. Well, I'm telling you, it never happens. Because the people who regulate fairness, they're not fair to begin with. Anytime they try to regulate fairness, it gets even more messed up and unfair. Because we live in a fallen world. And I'm telling you from the Bible, I'm telling you from personal experience, life ain't fair. Everybody takes their lumps from time to time. Things come out of nowhere. We get blindsided, don't we? Why does this guy live to be 100 and this person don't? Why? All these things that we can drive ourselves nuts saying, this isn't fair, this isn't fair, this isn't fair. But what Jesus did here, to me, shows us something. He is showing me the heart of God. You see, as I understand Jesus, every morning he got up before everybody else and he sought his Father. In his earthly ministry. Now, of course, he had known the Father and always been with him, but what are we going to do today? What would make you happy? Well, his Father says, okay, there's a guy at the pool of Bethesda. Go and tell him to be whole. Go and tell him to pick it up. It's going to drive the religious people crazy. It's going to be so much fun. Go get him, boy. So Jesus said, yes, Dad. So he went there, and he zeroes in on the one fella. Because his Father told him to. That's not fair. Well, what do I know about fair? I know righteous. I know holy. I know eternal. I know who holds it all in his hands and who's going to take care of everything. Do I trust him? Or do I make up this thing about fairness and equity and try to right the wrongs and make my view of fairness? No, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to try to be nice, and I'm going to try to be fair. But ultimately, we know life isn't fair, but we know God is good. And I also know this, the ripple effect. When a guy who hasn't walked for 38 years stands up and walks on his feet, and he says, Jesus healed me, that's going to create quite a stir. And that stir is still going on till today. God is good. Jesus is of God. Jesus heals. Jesus saves. He delivers. He walked up to a guy who was a wreck of a human being. And he commanded life into this guy. He changed his destiny. And in doing that one thing to the one person, that one pebble in the water, he created something. And only God in his wisdom could have seen that. And we can stand back in our stupidity and our immaturity and say this is fair and that isn't fair. Or we can glory in God and say, thank you, Jesus. You know? And I don't know if you've experienced this, but recently I had some major surgery going on in my life. And I did not have any insurance. You know, I'm like, okay, the price tag's going up and everything's going, and I remember telling people, God intervened because the hospital considered our case and gave us a benevolent care pass. And our debts were forgiven. And I give glory to God for that. And I'm so excited. And I tell people that. But I'm telling you, this happened to me more than once. I was just, first of all, God caught the thing, and I was under great care, and I'm in recovery, and everything. And I'm like, wow, God's so good. He even helped me pay my medical bills, and I didn't even have insurance. And I've heard several people say, oh, you didn't do that for me. And I felt really bad. It's like, I'm trying to give God glory and thank God, and people are telling me how unfair it is that God did that. One time I was driving home from work, and it was snowy, and I had a Dodge with rear-wheel drive that my dad gave me. It was awful in the snow. And I just started randomly spinning out of control. Right? And as I'm spinning, I end up some guy's yard. And as my rear end swerved in his yard, his mailbox was here. I went around it. And then there was a tree right here. And I just missed that tree. And I'm like, the front of my car is pointing right at the front door of this house. And I didn't hit nothing. And I backed up, and I pulled out back on the road. No damage. I thank God for that, and I thank angels for that. And I remember thanking God for that one time, and a guy says, well, he never did that for me. I wrecked the other day. My car was totaled. That was not why I told my story. My story was, God is good. God is great. I love him, and I trust him, and he takes care of me. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody, or I got more favor than anybody. All I'm trying to say is God is good. This whole thing about fairness, don't waste your time or your mental efforts on that. Just seek the Lord and his goodness. Believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And go from there, man. And when the stuff does come at you, seek God immediately. And give him glory for everything, and you watch how the blessings come. And nothing happens. Your attitude starts to change. This downcast, kind of gloomy, kind of pessimistic thing, it slowly goes away. The more stuff that God brings you through. And here's the thing, Christian, non-Christian alike, not just you, but Christian, his name's Christian. It's the stuff's going to happen. The stuff happens to all of us. The most godly people that I've ever read about, have gone through some stuff. And they, with the Lord's help, have overcome it. It's just amazing. And that's whose we are, and that's who we are. Now, Jesus walks in and takes a huge risk on a day. A room full of sick people, talks to one guy, and he asks him a question. Now, this guy had never seen Jesus before. I don't know if he'd even heard of him. This guy's world was this. I am so disadvantaged. I'm in pain. I can't even go to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes. I can't do nothing. I can't even turn the TV. Somebody's in the way. I'm standing here with laying here with all these sick people. If I can just get in that thing, like the legend says, I might get there when the pool bubbles up and I might get healed. But people keep going in front of me because I'm too lame. I can't get in the pool fast enough. That's his world. Jesus walks into his world and says, do you want to be made whole? Now, this fella, I'm going to tell you this right now. This fella didn't have faith. I don't think he was praying that day at all. He was just a miserable, downcast, crippled, messed up guy. Because life, it may have been someone's fault or may not have been, but he was just in a foul place. Bad stuff. And in a sense, you could say, my life is meaningless unless I can get into this pool ahead of everybody else and get healed. Jesus didn't deal with any of that. Jesus interrupted his despair. Jesus interrupted his gloom. And in spite of his lack of faith or whatever, he approached him. He says, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be made whole? And the guy didn't quite know the answer. He goes, well, I'd like to be made whole, but they keep getting in front of me. If they'd get out of my way or somebody would help me in the pool, I'd be whole. No, that's not the issue. Do you know who I am? Obviously he didn't. Second person of the Trinity, God in flesh, creator of the Word of God that always was, always will be. You know, your Savior, your Messiah. No, I don't know who you are. Can you help me in the pool? Then I'll get well. We don't need the pool guy. We don't need this. Sorry about the pool guy. We don't. Do you want to be made whole? And the guy still really didn't answer the question. Jesus just said, get up, pick up your bed, your mat that you're lying on, and go. Now, just let me tell you, we have faith healers, we have people who say things and do things, and it doesn't always pan out. But when you got the goods, Jesus had the goods. And when he says a brazen statement like that, get up, you're going to get up. When he speaks to a dead man, 4 days dead, Lazarus come forth, and the guy gets up, he's got the goods, right? Amen. This is our Jesus we're talking about. And he didn't even know him. He wasn't praying to him. He wasn't helping him. This was a sovereign act of God by Jesus, who was talking to his Father. What are we doing today? Go talk to that guy, tell him to get up and walk out of there. That is the heart of the Father. To bring healing, to bring wholeness, to bring restoration, to give hope to the hopeless, to give dreams to the dreamers, everything. His will is to get us out of our gloom. Stop worrying about why he doesn't do this, why isn't this fair, why that. Get it on with him personally. Get yourself in his presence, in his face, and say, here I am. I want to be made whole. And you are the one who does it. How about that? I bet that'll change your attitude. I bet that'll change a lot of things in your life. That's a good start. And if Jesus just would have said that, and the guy would have laid there, well, I don't know who you are. No, he did it. He got up, and he walked out of there. That is a good testimony. Don't you agree? Let's not look at that guy and say, well, he did it for that guy. Why didn't he do it for me? I'm still hobbling around the house. I still feel like crap. You know, don't do that. Look what God can do. Jesus had said on several occasions, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. I'm here. There's these religious bozos going around misrepresenting me, misquoting me, taking my law and throwing barnacles all over it, making it unrecognizable, making religion so miserable that you don't even want to go to church. As soon as you turn 18 and nobody's dragging you to church, you don't go no more. I mean, this happens all over the place because religion is just no fun, no hope, no joy. These barnacles slow down the boat and drag the boat down. It's time to address Christianity, I feel. And let's get the barnacles off of it. Let's go back to Jesus, who he is, what he said, what he did. What was he showing us with the heart of the Father? be released from your pain. Be released from the barnacles and the things that are dragging you down. Pick up your mat and walk out of here. That's what the man said. You know, on an emotional level, psychological level, just the cares of this world level, depression, all the things that we go through. You know, let's get together with Jesus and throw that at him and say, here's my deal. I want to be made whole like that guy. Can you speak to me? Can you fill my life full of hope? Can you give me a second chance? He'll do that for you. He'll help you out of your pit. And that would have been a great story. I could end right there and everything would be cool. But you know what? The religious people hated this. These religious rulers of this day saw a lame guy who never walked for 38 years at least, rejoicing, pray, dancing his way away from that pool. I ain't never going to that sick place again. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go maybe buy a cigar and sit around a tree and go, wow, what just happened to me? This is amazing. But the religious rulers, wait a minute, while you're holding that bed on the Sabbath, don't you bozos care that I'm healed? Don't you care? I got a second lease on life, and you want to throw your religious chains on me already? That's been 5 minutes. And you want to get on my case about carrying a stupid bed? The guy who healed me told me to. I'm going to listen to him. He's apparently got the goods. You gloomy gusses that I go to every Sunday or every Sabbath a year, all you do is bring me down. But this guy, he's got life. He's got power. He does miracles. And he told me to pick up my bed. You're darn tootin' I'm going to pick up my bed. But it's the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Don't you remember the Word of God? Well, Jesus, if you remember reading about what he said about the Sabbath, he says the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. If you have an ox who falls into a ditch, like you'll let the thing lay there and cry all night and die and go out Monday morning and pull its carcass out. No, go get it, man. Don't be unreasonable. Won't you rejoice with this cripple for 38 years? You want to just already get on his case about breaking the Sabbath? I mean, and all you're really doing is throwing your religious barnacles at the poor guy. You know, they totally missed the point. It's almost comical how they missed the point, how they're flying their religious harumph around and not able to rejoice in this beautiful miracle. I mean, God is not religious. God is good. He's loving. He's so powerful. And he has sent us a message. It's not, don't do this, don't do that, don't dress like this, don't. Yeah, there's some helpful things in there, of course. Some ways we can behave and be nice and treat each other well and love each other the way we. Yeah, of course. But let's start with a relationship. Religion says, clean up your act, put on a suit, cut your hair, shave, and then come to my church. And then we'll see how you do, and then we'll take a vote, and then we'll see if we want to make you a member. Right? That's religion. Jesus says, come sinner, come stinky, come drug addict, come prostitute, come here. You're in sin. I love you. I will forgive you. I will wash you up. I will clean you up. Now go and sin no more. That's Jesus. That's the heart of the Father. That is what Christianity is supposed to have been all this time. Right? You don't believe me, do you? Well, let me just read here. Later, the man didn't know Jesus, but afterwards, Jesus found him in the temple. Here's another thing. He left the sick place, picked up his mat, and walked directly to the temple, where they worship God. And he had a story and a song and a testimony, and he's carrying his mat, and all the religious people could give him was flack. But he went to God immediately and was thanking God. Right? Jesus found him there and was very happy and proud of him. He says, okay, now go and sin no more. Did you say that? Stop sinning. Or something worse might happen to you. Now that's a good sound warning for all sinners. People who come out of their sins and come to the Lord and change their ways and lay it all down at the altar. Some of them go back into it, and it ends up 10 times worse. Some of them relapse. It happens. I've backslidden in my life. I've gone back to things that I know I shouldn't have done or been, or and I've felt the heat for that, and I felt the crud that comes with all that. But, he takes me back. He forgives me. He'll forgive you. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect either. Welcome to the Church of the Imperfect. I welcome all of you. I know a guy who's perfect, and he loves me. And when I sin, he don't like sin. He hates the things that kill me. All the drugs and the alcohol and the foul language and the stupidity and all the things I was doing that was destroying me. He hates all that stuff. He doesn't want me to be into that. But he loves me. This is the heart of the Father, guys. He sees through the stuff and he sees you. If you carefully look, when Jesus entered that pool area, it says he saw a man. And you, sitting here today, he sees you. Yeah, but I do this, but I don't do this, and I'm not this enough, and he sees you. He sees the stuff, yeah. We can deal with that. We will deal with that. That's called discipleship. They say you have to catch the fish before you clean it. You can't clean a fish and swim it down the stream. They move too fast, right? You catch the fish, and then you clean it. Lazarus did rise from the dead, then take the grave clothes off of him. The woman caught in the act of adultery, where are your accusers? They're all gone. And neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. There's the heart of Jesus. There's the heart of Christianity right there. We don't like sin. We don't applaud sin. We don't excuse it. But we, through Christ, love the sinner. God, through Jesus, speaks life to those who are depressed, those who are oppressed, those who are distressed. He speaks life to them, and he gives you a better path. Yes, we have to get off the path of destruction and get out of some of the stuff we're into. Yes, but come to Jesus first, and then let's work on that stuff. Then we'll get the little knife out, and we'll get the barnacles off of you. 60 years old now. I've gotten rid of a few barnacles, but I got a few more to go. Working on 3/4 of a brain, and I'm still up here preaching. I got some stuff. Working on it. Not perfect at all. But this thing, this Jesus, this thing that was so unreligious, shows us the heart of the Father. Shows us that he is there for you. And when he does something wonderful for you, and you go tell it, and you go share it, it's not to show that you're better than somebody, or you're more blessed than somebody, or life was fair to me but unfair to you. It's not about that. You glorify him. You lift him up, and he will draw all men to himself. That's our goal. That is why we are Christians. That's why we're still here. We bear his name, Christians. Some of us more than others. But do you get my point on this? This is the heart of the Father. Last week I was talking about the prodigal son. How that younger son, what a screw up he was, how rude he was, how he took his father's money, went out and blew it, and how upset his brother got with him, and that whole scenario. But we saw the love and the heart of the Father through all that. He told the religious son, chill out. Just rejoice in the fact that your lost brother is home. Right? And the younger son, who was apologizing and sorry and all this stuff. Yeah. Here's your ring. Here's your cloak. Come in, let's have a feast. God loves it when a sinner comes to him. The angels in heaven rejoice when a sinner comes into the kingdom. This thing that Jesus set up, this thing we call the church, it was his plan all along to save sinners like us. And we're not better than anybody else. We're better off because of Jesus, but they can have him too. God is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to the knowledge of Christ. That's what Peter said. Peter knew Jesus pretty well, don't you think? So, where are we at? Where are we at with all this stuff? This little incident did start quite a ripple. From this day forward, some people came to Jesus with all of their heart. And the rest of them started plotting his death. Because in their estimation, these religious people's estimation, not only did he break the law, he claims to be the Son of God, which makes him equal with God. In our estimation, that's blasphemy, so we got to kill him. So half of them are turning to him, maybe not even half, and the rest want to kill him because he rocks the boat, because he goes against our religion, not really the Word of God, but against the barnacles, right? So Jesus wasn't afraid to make waves, and boy did he make waves that one day with one fella, and everybody eventually heard about it, and it changed everything. I love how Jesus doesn't play by the rules that we set up on this world. You know, we caught this woman in the act of adultery. We can twist the Bible around to say that she ought to be stoned. Well, the real Bible says that the man and the woman should have been brought in and tried and maybe stoned. But we're only doing half of this because we probably paid off the dude just to get this girl here. So we can embarrass Jesus. Okay, here she is, Jesus. Go ahead and stone her. We'll watch. We'll help. They were trying to set him up. Do you remember reading that story? And you know what he did? He ignored him and he knelt down and he started drawing on the ground. How cool is that? He doesn't play their game. When the world and the religious people come at you with this and this, why aren't you doing this? Ignore them. Just give thanks to God. Hey, I'm a sinner. I'm messed up. But he forgave me. He loves me. He's helping me get these barnacles off of me. He's making me a disciple. And as I study his word, he's becoming more real to me. Yeah, but you don't do this, and the hair's not short enough. Was my hair short enough today, by the way? I don't have that long hair problem anymore. But you see what I'm saying here. This game. Jesus didn't play their game. And when they pushed the issue, he stood up and he said, okay, I'm going to turn the tables on you guys. Anybody here without sin? Anybody at all? Anybody? You throw the first stone. And one by one, they looked at each other and said, our plan is ruined. We were going to embarrass him publicly, because if we'd have made Jesus throw stones at this woman, well, the Roman guards would have came in, broke, what's all this then? And they were broken it up, and he'd have been arrested then, and they'd have said, ha ha, got him. He could have played it into their hands, but he's smarter than that. He didn't come here to play by their rules. He came to take that bar and to raise it. This is who I am, and whoever's seen me has seen the Father. Of course this woman has sinned. Of course adultery's wrong. But lady, I forgive you. Go and sin no more. And you guys, put down your rocks. Who do you think you are? And the Bible tells us the oldest dropped theirs, the middle way. The youngest dropped theirs. Hungry for blood, hungry for working a plan that just failed because Jesus just upended the whole thing. I love it. And of course, when they came to him, Jesus, did you pay your taxes? What do you think? Should we just, revolt and we start trouble with these Romans? They got Jesus cornered on that issue, remember? The Romans would have got him and arrested him and no more Jesus, right? He says, give to God what belongs to God and give to Caesar. I see his picture on the coin here. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. He foiled them again. He didn't play their game. He was already way ahead of them. Do you see what I'm saying here? And I went, well, just to play it safe, Peter, go out there and catch this one fish. You'll find a coin in its mouth. Go pay my taxes and yours, and we're good. So I think it's Christian to go ahead and pay your taxes. Don't worry about it. Don't complain about it. Pray about it. Vote wisely. call Doug Mastriano and get on board with him. Little endorsement there. No charge, Doug, no charge. Okay, so this is the official name of this message is The Heart of the Father. How does God look upon mankind? I mean, we get selfish. We get lazy. We get crooked. We get bent. And we want what we want, when we want it, how we want it. Right? We get really messed up. But He looks at us messed up people and loves us. He looks and sees us, what we could have been. He sees potential. He sees eternity. He sees beyond all the crap and what we call fair or unfair. He sees beyond all that. And He sees something glorious. And He said, you, come to me. Come to me, all of you are weak and heavy laden. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn of me. Forget about this stuff that's dragging you down. Forget about dipping yourself in the pool before everybody else so you'll get healed. Look to me. Look at me. Look at me. You looking at me? Get up and walk. Like Mickey said to Rocky, get up, you bum. I love it. So, that's a good cue. I'm not calling you a bum, but you knew. She's pretty. She's my daughter. And we're going to have communion right now. Does everyone have their packets? If you need assistance with those, please consult someone under 30 who's got dexterous fingers who can open the lid and get all that out for you. I can't quite do it myself. I need help. See, here's my helper right here. Yes. If you would take the bread or the wafer, hold it in your hand and bow your heads if you can. I want you to look to the Lord this morning as I pray. Father, we come before you. We are thankful for Jesus. Jesus paid the price that we can never pay. We can never be good enough. We can never be this enough or fast enough or slow enough or anything enough. Jesus paid it all to Him. We owe. And on the night He was betrayed, we're told in the scriptures that Jesus took the bread and He passed it to His disciples. He says, this is my body broken for you. Take ye and eat it. And do it in remembrance of me. So go ahead and take that bread right now. And we're told in the scriptures that in the same way He took the cup and He raised it up and says, this is my blood shed for you. This is the cup of the New Testament. Take ye and drink all of it. And as often as you do this in remembrance of me. So if you would take that cup. Now if everyone in here would just bow your heads and close your eyes, I want to pray for you. Father in heaven, I pray for everybody in this room, Lord. We've all been through stuff. We all have mountains and valleys, and we have circumstances, and we have feelings, and we have physical problems that we have to overcome. And we get bad news every day, and bad reports, and bad circumstances, all the things, Lord. But Lord, right now, I pray for everybody in this room that they would just look up and say, God, you're bigger than this stuff. You're more important than this stuff. And I receive the Father's love. And I let all the rest of this go. And from now on, every step I take, I seek you. And I walk with you. And and I reach for your hand, and I take your yoke upon myself. And I want to learn of you, and I want to trust you more every day, and I want more of these barnacles to fall off me every single day. That everybody in this room would think that and feel that and say that in their hearts. As a matter of fact, just repeat this after me if you would. Father in heaven, I'm sorry for my sins. Please forgive me. Please help me walk. Please help me learn. And help me grow to be like Jesus. Jesus is my Lord. He died for my sins. And He rose from the grave. I commit my life once again and for all time to the risen Jesus. Father, I love you. You are mine, and I am yours. In Jesus' name, amen. I would like to dismiss you all. And you guys have a wonderful day. And I'm going to meet a few folks up here for prayer. If anybody would like to join us, feel free. Otherwise, you are dismissed. God bless you. Have a great day.